Actually, you have to make the realization that this life is yours. It's no one else's. You need to take one step to see the next step. If you never take that one step, you'll never see the other step.
And what would you say is the most fulfilling part of your job?
I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm living in purpose. You just have to be honest with yourself about what it is that you want to do. Forget what people think. Even your own parents, they're not going to be there dealing with the consequences of an unhappy life with you.
Hey guys, and welcome to the season 5 finale. If you have stuck with us throughout the whole season 5, thank you so much for being here, and today we had to end off with a banger. So in studio joining us today is the one, the only Joanna Kinuthia and the cargo
I actually didn't know this was the season finale, so I'm quite honored because I love a good season finale.
I also love for you to be here because I
Thank you
feel
for
like I relate so much with you. I think because we started doing content around the same time,
yeah.
And in as much as our stories might not be exactly the same, I feel like I not only drew a lot of inspiration from you, but it felt like I had a peer holding my hand as we were going through it. And I think your letter will also do the same for a lot of people who feel like they might be, stuck somewhere in a rut.
So
Before we get into it, maybe you can go ahead and read us your letter.
Okay. There are tissues here in case I cry, but I don't think I'm gonna cry today. I was saying before we started, when I wrote the letter, I was tearing up a bit, but that's not who I am today. Today I'm not gonna cry. Okay. So, dear Joanna, it's 2017, you're 22, fresh out of university after graduating a few weeks ago from a course you didn't particularly enjoy, a course you did because it's what you were supposed to do. After uni, you continued to do what you were supposed to do. You started looking for a job. After all, you landed the job, and again, you started doing what you were supposed to do. But something changed one day in a matatu. Bright and early, on the way to just another day at work. It's like you woke up. It's like something clicked in you that made you realize that this life just could not be it. A few days later, you handed in your resignation and walked away from that life. The life where you did what was expected of you. And that's when the life where you do what you're passionate about, what truly sets your heart on fire, began. You started making decisions for you, decisions you were happy with, not decisions you were supposed to make or decisions everyone else was making. It's 24 now, you're 29, seated at your desk as you write this in your beautiful office, the headquarters of Joanna K Cosmetics, a brand you started thanks to their realization. So thank you. Thank you for having the courage to make the decision to charter your own path. Thank you for not doing what you are supposed to do. Thank you for making the decision to do something different, despite people around you suggesting that it wasn't the best of decisions. It paid off.
All right, so you start off your letter where Joanna has just finished high school.
Yeah.
So first of all, which high school did you go to?
Kianda.
You're in Kianda. So you're fresh out of Kianda. You've
Yeah.
decided you want to do events management because you think that's where your passion lies.
Yeah.
But then now you're convinced to do BCom instead.
Yeah.
So who convinced you to do BCom instead, and how did it feel knowing that you were going into a course where your passions didn't exactly lie?
Of course, it was my parents. I think they were just scared of the unknown at the time because at that time, events management was like a very unique and different thing for someone to do. It was one of those things that at that time someone is like, events, that's how you make money, you know. But I think I've always been creative, and I felt at that time that was the way I wanted to express my creativity. But my parents were like, just do BCom, it's business, eventually you'll get into business and, it'll come in handy with whatever you do. Yeah, I can't say that was true in the end, but Yeah.
And how did it feel knowing that you were going into a course
that I was not passionate
Yeah.
about? I was so neutral about it. I feel like that was how I already was in high school. Just just there, you just show up. I feel like when your creative side is suppressed, you're just there. Yeah, you're just neutral. You just show up, you do what you're supposed to do, and you go home. So I didn't particularly like it, but at the same time, I didn't feel like I had that. Like I wasn't grown up enough to make a decision and be like, no, guys, I'm gonna do events management because who was gonna pay for me? No one's paying for me and taking care of me. So I was just like, okay, I'll just do it. Yeah.
And in your letter, you repeatedly mentioned that you were just doing what you were supposed to do, what was expected of you at the time. And I wonder, throughout this period, let's say you're in uni and maybe you're even good at this thing that is expected of you, but at any point, did it ever feel wrong? Did it ever feel like, what, maybe I'm actually not supposed to be doing this?
Yeah, it always felt like that. It always felt like that. But at the same time, I don't exist alone by myself. So the society that I am in, that's what everyone was doing. So yes, I feel like I should be doing something different. But then almost everyone is doing this thing.
Yeah.
So I guess over time, I just told myself, this is just what you're supposed to do. So just get into it.
Maliza.
Yeah, but at some point in uni, I think in third year, we started doing some courses that I started enjoying. Like there was this course we had called Practical Entrepreneurship. And they used to really encourage us to like start a business and even showcase the business in the student center. So those things, like I would just feel like, wow, like I'm excited to go to school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like at least those moments made my uni a bit more lively. Yeah.
And like you even mentioned that the society expected you, or rather it's what everyone in the society were doing. And right now, okay, I feel like right now it's less, but as we were growing up, it was always, you finish uni, you've done well, there is those courses you're expected to do so that you can either earn a lot of money or be respectable or such things.
Exactly.
How do you think we can walk away from that sort of thinking so that the generations that are coming after us, we can encourage them more? How can we encourage them more to pursue their passion and not really those big 5 courses?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think first, people who have Gen X parents, they just have to accept that that's just how it's gonna be, because I feel like they're really set in their ways. They're really stuck in that, like you have to go to uni. Education is the key to success, because I guess in their time, that was what would make you successful. But I feel like after you've done your time, you've gone to uni, you have appeased your parents, I feel like it's a very individual journey. You have to have a meeting with yourself. You have to wake up and you have to ask yourself. First, actually, you have to make the realization that this life is yours. It's no one else's.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Yani, when you're dying, there's no one who you can blame for the life that you led. You can't blame the society. You can't blame your parents. It's you.
Yeah.
And you're the one who has to deal with the consequences of whatever life path you chose. So try and choose a life path that you're happy with. It doesn't matter if there's all this opposition from outside.
Yeah.
In fact, you should expect it. If you take a different path, you have to expect that there's going to be pushback, because human beings like what they know. They're so uncomfortable when someone is going against what is the norm, so you can expect that pushback, but you just pick what you know you love, because at the end of the day, the only person who's going to deal with those consequences is you.
So now let's fast forward a bit. Now you've gone to uni, you've graduated, and you've gotten a job. That first job that you got, what was it about?
It was in marketing. So I thought, at least if I'm getting a job, I feel like at that time my mind was very in the system, It was very much in the system. It's like, now we finished, now this is the next step. I was not a free thinker, so to speak. So the job was in marketing, and I thought I would enjoy it because I was like, I like marketing. I really enjoy marketing. It's even those are even the courses I enjoyed in uni. Hey, but when I got there, I was just like, what's going on here?
This is not it.
No, I didn't like it at all. It was so, I found it so corporate, you know, let's unpack this, let's circle back, no. I didn't like it.
Yeah. But then now we thank God that actually, how long was it until you made that realization that time in the matatu? How long had you worked for?
1 week.
Ah.
Yes, one thing about me, I act very fast.
Oh, here I am thinking you were 1 year into it.
No, 1 week.
Why you gave it a fair chance?
Monday to Friday I went, and I think either like the next week I was just like, hold up, what's this? What am I doing?
Yeah. And what triggered that? Like, what triggered that realization, and how did it feel to finally, realize and be at peace that this is not for me?
I just felt like I was living on autopilot. That's how I felt. And I kind of noticed other people around me were living like that. And by the way, this is not to bash 9 to 5. I know there are people who really thrive in a 9 to 5. They're really good at it, and they do things that they really enjoy. So this is not to even bash 9 to 5. It was just not for me. And I think just being on autopilot, I was just like, what am I actually doing? I need to wake up and remember all those things that I wanted to do, all those things that I had said when I finally finish uni, I'm going to do these things.
Yeah.
And
but then it's one thing to be like, to say I'm going to resign, and it's another thing to actually go ahead, write that resignation letter and walk in and submit it. So where did that courage come from?
I think part of it is just who I am as a person, who I've always been. I make very rash decisions. It's a double-edged sword because sometimes it's really good, you know, but other times I get myself into trouble. But it's always been my personality. When I commit and I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. But I also think my dad did give me a bit of courage. Actually, out of a lot of Gen X's who I know, my dad is quite millennial. He's quite millennial. So I went and told him how I was feeling. I was like, I don't think this is it. I don't like it. And so he was telling me, if you want to quit, this is the time to quit. Yani he was giving me that need. If you want to quit. He was like, right now you don't have responsibilities. You don't have a kid. You're not paying rent. We're not kicking you out. So if you want to quit, this is the time. Because if you stay in that job, responsibilities will just go accumulating, and the decision will just get harder and harder and harder. As soon as he gave me his stamp of approval, I was like, say less, I'm out, guys. My mom did not approve though, but I just needed one person to approve, and I was good.
Yeah. And did you have a plan at the time of quitting?
Yes, I had a plan. So at that time, I was a makeup artist. So that was actually my plan. I had also started my YouTube channel, but at that time, if you'll recall, Wabosha, I don't think we even knew people were making money off YouTube. Personally, I had no idea. So for me, it was just like a nice, fun, creative outlet. But I thought this creative outlet has to go hand in hand with something, something I can sell. So I was a makeup artist. So I thought, now let me just do the YouTube thing to push the makeup artist thing. I did not even enjoy being a makeup artist.
For real?
Oof, not at all. As soon as I could drop it, I dropped it. I didn't like it.
Why?
That one-on-one interaction with customers, just hug your favorite makeup artist, because I think they're going through a lot. That one-on-one, it's like, I don't know, it's like talking to your customers at Safiri one-on-one all the time. It's too much. It's too personal. It's too,
especially,
they say they don't like it. It just hits you a different way. So I didn't enjoy it. But that was my plan.
And like you mentioned that your dad encouraged you, but your mom, wasn't for the idea. And I
Yeah.
think it happens, like you said, when you're going a route that's not exactly normal.
Yeah.
You'll have, some people who are cheering you on and some people will be against it.
Yeah.
So at the time you said that your dad encouraging you, that really motivated you to go ahead.
Yes.
But the fact that your mom really wasn't for it, did that affect in any way?
Just a bit. Yeah. I think I know my parents. And then, by the time I was even going to my dad to tell him this, it's more like I had already made up my mind. I just needed, when you just need just like one person to agree with you and you do it. That's where I was. So I was, and my mom she's a risk-averse person. So I already knew that about her. So I knew what she was going to say.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask her. She made her opinions known. Not that I asked her, but I just needed that one. And it could have been anyone. Even if it wasn't my dad, it could have been anyone who just says, yeah, quit. Walai, I quit.
Gone ahead with it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of moms are just worry warriors.
Yeah,
That's what I
so.
call my mom, because I feel like up until to date, she calls me just to be like, are you sure you still don't want to go and be an engineer?
Are you sure? You have the
you
degree.
babe,
Dust it off and
She's like, now is the time if you still want to go. And I'm like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm happy.
I think it comes from a good place.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it does. So by the time now you're quitting, you had already created your YouTube channel, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So how far had you gone into like your content creation journey?
So this was 2017, around I want to say May, June, and I started my channel in January. So I had already started gaining some traction here and there. I just didn't know that people were paid
For
do
it.
YouTube. Yeah, for me it was just like a fun thing. But I had gone quite a bit. In fact, that's why I got the job. I got the job because they saw my YouTube channel and they were like, oh, this girl there's something she can add to this team. So about six months into my YouTube journey. Yeah.
And at the time, when you are now starting, because you said you started in 2017.
5th of January 2017.
Yeah. At the time when you were starting, what inspired you to get into content creation, and how was your early content creation journey like?
I actually started on Facebook in 2016. I don't know, I used to find YouTube so intimidating. I was like, let me start on Facebook. Yeah, those days people used to use Facebook.
Yeah.
I feel like now, not like only older people use Facebook. But at that time, people used to use Facebook. So it was the less intimidating platform for me. And why, by the way, I'm not even sure why I started doing makeup videos. I had always been interested in makeup. I think even in high school I used to do for my friends like makeup when we had like sports days and things like that. It's something I was just always very interested in. And once I'm interested in something, I'm the kind of person who I will do so much research about that thing. I will know it inside and out. So I did the same with makeup. So I had more skills maybe than the average person. So I was like, you know what, I can share these skills. I've learned a lot over the years. I've been doing the research and practice. So let me share what I know. Because I would also get a few questions here and there. How did you do this? How did you do your brows like this? How did you... It's also quite similar to how you started as well. Because you were doing a tutorial to share with a friend, right? Yeah. So I was like, if this one person has that question, then a lot of other people could benefit from this.
Yeah. And what started as, the decision to one day sit in front of a camera and record yourself has now, led to Joanna K Cosmetics. So was it always in the plans? Like when you were starting content creation, did you know I'm starting this so that it can propel and make a way for Joanna K?
Or I didn't know. By the way, I didn't know. Which is just goes to show that sometimes like you need to take one step to see the next step. If you never take that one step, you'll never see the other steps.
Yeah.
Because when I started content creation, it had never even occurred to me that I could start my own line ever. So towards the end of 2017, I got my first gig as a content creator, and then I got a few more gigs after that, and the feedback I would get was so positive, that wow, so many customers came from this collaboration, and I started thinking, I'm putting money in people's pockets.
Getting customers for other people.
I'm like, let me put money in my own pocket. Yeah. So mine is not actually like a deep story. It's just that, you know, I also wanted to leverage my own audience to make money for myself. And then also at the time, I feel like there were not many Kenyan beauty brands. I think there were just like 2.
Yeah.
And I felt that they catered to a much older demographic. So I was like, this is perfect, you know, let me start.
Let me go into it.
Let me go into it.
And how has been the journey so far?
It's been really good. It's had its ups and downs. Like the first 2 years, I feel like I had so much psych, you know, let's go. And then year 3, year 4, I was just like, is this what I really want to do? I really slowed down in the business. Then now year 5.
It's 5 years.
I'm going to be 6 in December.
Wow.
Yeah, so now
That's
I feel
a
like...
big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so it's had its challenges for sure. I don't have to tell you that running a business is not easy. I really try not to make it my entire personality, but it's not easy.
It's not.
But at the same time, it's also really, really fulfilling, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
That's really nice. Now, at what point, because in your letter, you're like, thank you for going into this because it's really worth it. So since, you know, taking that leap and quitting your job and starting Joanna K, at what point did it start to feel like, yeah, this was actually worth it?
Okay, I feel like first I already felt it immediately because I was just like,
Relief.
I don't have to go to work every day. I don't have to report to someone. But I think maybe when I started making some money from content creation, because I had gotten a lot of people telling me, this is not really something that makes money, or this is something you do on the side. It's not something that you quit a whole job for. So I think when I started making money, and also when I opened Joanna K Cosmetics, I started feeling like, you know what? I'm doing something here. Yeah, I started feeling like it was... just being so happy that I made that decision to leave the job. Yeah.
You know, actually, like when you were speaking, I just thought about it, and I was like, for you at the time when you were starting, you had actually finished uni and quit an entire job. So there's a lot of pressure to show people that this can work as a job.
Exactly.
Because for me, at the time when I was starting, I was in 3rd year. You know, at the time,
so
people
it's
are
like
just
something
like,
you do on the side.
hi, and her little videos.
Yeah.
It wasn't that serious. That I'm
Yeah.
imagining the pressure for you to show that it can work.
Yeah,
guys. It
there's
actually can.
There's definitely some pressure.
Yeah. And what are some challenges that you've faced while following your passion?
That's a good question. I think a lot of self-doubt, especially in the beginning, because, you know, I don't think I had anyone close to me at that time who had taken a different path. So being the only one doing something different came with so much self-doubt. Like, am I actually making the right decision? Should I have made this decision? You know, I think there was a lot of that. And then the rest of the challenges, I think, were mainly regular business challenges, maybe cash flow issues and things like that. But I also think I've dealt a lot with a bit of imposter syndrome, and how other people perceive me because of what I do. It's something I've really had to work on, because for sure I was just that girl who does 2 videos, you know, are you even making money from it? Like, come on,
And
girl.
at that time, you can be making more money than them.
The job I left would have been paying me pretty well. So I think I really struggled with that. You know, sometimes it's not even that people are thinking that way about you. You just think they're thinking that about you.
Yeah.
So it's something I've really had to work on. And I think a lot of people in the creative industry, it's something they have to contend with.
For sure.
Yeah, that people may perceive you in a certain way, or you may think people will perceive you in a certain way. Yeah. I think something else I also struggled with is I thought that because I'm following my passion, there would not be any challenges.
You'll just be sure.
Just be smooth sailing, you know, do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Well,
And na hadithi nyinginezo.
well. Yeah, so even if you follow your passion, there will definitely be challenges. So I think that one caught me off guard. I was just like, you mean? I thought this thing would just be so smooth because I've chosen my passion and yeah. But even despite the challenges, I think precisely because I went with what I love, the challenges have been manageable. Yeah.
Now, fast forward from, that girl who just finished high school to now 9-year-old Joanna sitting behind her desk at Joanna K Cosmetics headquarters, writing the letter to her younger self. How was it like? How did you feel like writing the letter and remembering your younger self who didn't really know exactly what you were getting yourself into?
Yeah.
So how did it feel speaking to her?
I actually felt quite emotional. I started writing the letter and I started feeling like, hey, I'm gonna cry. So I waited until my colleagues went for lunch. So that I was alone in the office. But I think what I really felt was inspired by her. I felt so inspired by her because I feel like over the years I've become less, like I don't jump into things the way I used to jump into things before. Now I second guess a lot and I think should I not? When at that time something used to come into my mind and I never used to have a doubt that I can do it. Now I doubt myself sometimes and I say, can I really do it? Do we have the money? Can we, it's just so many things and then maybe I put off things for so long. So I think that was what I felt most is inspired. Like I wish I could be more like her now because man, I really used to believe in myself those days. Yeah. There's nothing anyone could tell me. I knew I can do it.
Yeah. And what would you say is the most fulfilling part of your job?
I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm living in purpose. That's how I feel. I don't know how to better put it into words, but I don't know, it's just that feeling that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's how I feel.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
And if you had to give advice to, let's say, a young girl or a young boy who is in a similar situation, you in that matter too before you made that realization, who feels like they're just stuck and they're really unhappy with their day-to-day life and they don't know how to break free from that. So what would you tell that young person or even old person, because I feel like it's not age restrictive?
Yeah, that's true. I think you just have to be honest with yourself about what it is that you want to do, because I feel like sometimes when people are unhappy, they have kind of an idea of what it is that they want to do. They're just afraid to do it because especially the number one thing is, what are people going to think? So my advice would be stop thinking about what other people are going to think. You have to create a life that feels good to you, not a life that looks good to others. I got that from my therapist.
Period.
So, I think that's what I would say. Forget what people think. Even your own parents, they're not going to be there dealing with the consequences of an unhappy life with you if that's what you decide to stick with. So just forget about what people think and make decisions for you. Yeah.
And what is next for Joanna and Joanna K Cosmetics? Me personally, I want to know when the lip oils are coming, because I left the house. By the time I was reaching where I was going, everything was sold out. I was just like, yo.
Yeah, that was actually very shocking for me as well. I didn't expect that. They're fighting for their lives. Let's pray for them. They'll arrive when they arrive. I never know. I just wake up and I get a message that they're here.
They're here.
We'll just wait, all of us together. What's next for me? I think right now I'm in a season where I've laid a good foundation for what I want to do, probably for the foreseeable future. So I think right now it's just staying consistent with all the things that I'm juggling. Staying consistent with what I'm doing with my brand, Joanna K Cosmetics, and staying consistent with building my own personal brand. I think that's who I am, because now I feel quite sure that this is the space I want to be in and this is the business I want to run. So now it's just to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, we normally do a time capsule sort of thing. So you wrote a letter to younger Joanna, and I want you to leave a message to 39-year-old Joanna. So you can take some time, think about what you would want to say to her, and then when you're ready, which camera? That camera, the smaller one, and then you
39.
can leave yourself a message.
Okay. First, I used to think 39 is so old. But
I used
now
to
I'm
think
just
28 is old.
what? But I was just like, 39 is just still a young woman.
Yeah.
Still a child.
Bouncing baby girl.
Exactly. Okay. I think I'll just say that at 39, I hope that you're enjoying the fruits of my current labor because I'm really putting in the work. And I think I would also say that, yeah, I hope you still have that fire within you. I hope that you still are doing things for yourself and not because other people are doing them or because you're supposed to do them. Yeah, I think that's what I would say.
It's short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Hopefully in 10 years' time I can look for you and give
Yeah.
you your message. But thank you so much for gracing our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a really nice having you on here. And for you guys at home, thank you for sticking with us throughout the entire season 5. We're going to take a bit of a break. Hey, we need a holiday. We really do need a holiday. And we'll see you guys for season 6. Bye.